Okay, so I've just unmuted. I'm not sure if you can hear me. And the other thing I was going to that's good.
Mute. Can you hear me, Nick? See me, Nick?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I can.
Can you see me?
No,
you can't. Take away the control now.
Yeah, I can see you as well. Fab.
Okay, good. I can see you. Yeah, hi. You're looking
beautiful,
white and shiny.
Yeah, I might move actually.
No, you look. It's a bit bright, Nick.
Yeah, I might move. We've got 3 minutes to do so. How's that? I've got some slightly different backgrounds.
Shall I go with or without the scarf? Okay, I'm just being told I'm sitting indoors. I've got to take the scarf off.
You look like the same now. I've got dark thoughts on.
I've just been informed that we're live, Dawn. Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Hospo Live. Hi, Nick. How you doing? I see you got only a payment away t-shirt on.
Of course, Dawn. Of course I have. Yeah, I saw Steve and Greg earlier. Thought they did fantastically well. Really positive messages and really real as well. So, yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Right. Okay. So, welcome to Hospo Live. It's a live content stream and community page keeping hospitality workers connected, upskilled, and inspired during the coronavirus isolation. And welcome to the top tips and do's and don'ts on creating a great CV. This is an opportunity for you to ask any questions and for us to share our expertise and advice. So grab a pen, take some notes, and if you can take away 1 or 2 tips that can help you with your CV, then we will see this session as a great success. So before we start, we thought we would share some information about Nick and I and what backgrounds we have to ensure you know that you have the 2 leading experts in recruitment giving you the best advice. Between us, we have a family business which includes Appetite for Recruitment and Appetite for Work, H&R Recruitment Agency, Hospitality Jobs UK, which is a bespoke hospitality job board. Right, let's kick off with me telling you a bit about Nick. Nick is my fabulous business partner. We met in a Cafe Nero in Godalming, and I was discussing his recruitment agency advertising on the job board. When I met with Nick, I owned Hospitality Jobs UK. By the end of our meeting, he pretty much was the new business partner. And I quote, he said, "Life just got interesting again." So Nick is one of the most energetic, loyal, and hardworking recruitment professionals I've ever met. We were a career in the hospitality industry spanning 30 years, as well as setting up one of the leading and reputable hospitality recruitment brands and continuing to operate the agency as CEO. He's also co-owner and director of Hospitality Jobs UK. Known to quote, "Life just got interesting again." Nick and his team provide 3 innovative hospitality recruitment solutions, which includes providing temp and perm candidates and also a job board. More than that, Nick is an avid rugby man, father, and enjoys Tough Mudder with industry friends and fellow ambassadors raising money for the Only a Payment Away charity. Nick is extremely proud to be involved with actively supporting Only a Payment Away and the Springboard charity, where he is one of the leads and hospitality ambassadors and part of the amazing Beers and Peers network group. Now, Nick, over to you to talk about me.
Thanks, Dawn. So my business partner, Dawn, you know what, unbelievably 30 years experience within the recruitment industry and holding group recruitment positions for Dixon's Currys and PC World. You can see that I'm slightly amused by this. It's a bit of an in-joke. I don't think a day or a meeting's gone by that Dawn hasn't actually mentioned her position at Dixon's Currys and PC World, and Ian and myself occasionally have a bet as to how long it's going to take. But well done, Dawn. Great position to have had. Dawn was the original founder of Hospitality Jobs UK, which is one of the leading and fastest growing hospitality online advertising job boards nationwide. You can tell this is and founder and MD of H&R Recruitment, which is a fantastic business working within hospitality, leisure, retail and supply chains and head offices on both the permanent and temporary side. Dawn is pretty much widely known as the industry expert, I've got to say, and go-to person for everything recruitment and careers. She regularly even speaks at conferences, schools and universities, heavily involved in the charity Only Payment Away, which was the other way that we met and went into partnership together. Supporting Only Payment Away and Greg as the senior recruitment advisor and ambassador, as well as being advisor to the industry and trade bodies on anything recruitment and career related. So busy girl, Dawn.
I am indeed, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So what are we talking about today, Nick? So Nick and I have shared our backgrounds in recruitment with you, and with over 50 years of recruitment experience between us, we are here today to share with you some top tips and do's and don'ts when writing a great CV.
At the end, I think there'll be a couple of horror stories and true stories that we've experienced, some of which aren't suitable to be aired, some of which are sort of close to the line. So look forward to that.
The information will be starting you. You can act on it right away, be inspired to make changes to your existing CV, or just put it in your back pocket for a rainy day. No matter what career stage you are in, whether you are looking for your first job in hospitality or have years of experience on your CV, it's important to never stop learning, never stop reviewing, and always be curious and ask questions. Before we start, remember, your CV is your business card, and writing a CV will take a good couple of hours, sometimes days, and we are here to guide you through to make sure the CV you create represents you in the best possible way. So if you can grab a pen and a piece of paper, if there's one or two tips that you think that will be good, then write them down, and we will look at this and think our session is a success. So over to you, Nick, to talk about what we're covering today.
Okay, let's see how we go on the technical side. So firstly, just want to say, we're going to run through the CV. I've got a live example, and don't worry, GDPR, I have been given permission to use Greg's CV. And also, just not to sound insensitive, because I think the importance of having an up-to-date CV is crucial all the time. But this might be slightly premature, but while you've got time on your hands, why not make it a good one? So we'll look at the what a CV should look like. As an overview, the tone of the CV, your profile, key achievements, career history, qualifications, hobbies. The question is, do I need to put those in? I'll give my views. The layout, LinkedIn, and what your LinkedIn CV is in relation to online, and then do's and don'ts. And I've alluded to a couple of horror stories. So if this works, it'll be great. And I'm going to try and share the screen, which, if it works, will be a miracle. Let me see. Okay, Dawn, if you just confirm you can see it, that'd be great.
Yep, I can see that.
So what I've done is I've blacked out some of the key areas just to make it slightly easier. I know the temptation will be to read the details. Firstly, thank you to Craig for giving us permission to use your CV. It's a great CV. I've picked a relatively senior candidate who I met first actually doing Tough Mudder, and who joined the team. Not that it was a competition, but we did win, and we did it in under 3 hours, with Steve Rocky from Limewood, Jackie Perry and her husband Dennis, my very own Dan Harvett from Appetite for Recruitment, and Craig. So yeah, it was a great thing to do, and subsequently Craig has joined Vapiano, as you can see. but I'll talk about the career overview in a second. Initially, I just wanted to look at the personal profile, which is under debate always. But for me, it's the first thing that stands out on a CV. It's the first statement about sort of who you are and whatever level you're at, whether you're a line chef, you're working floor staff. It all translates even into the setup of the CV. So as you can see, Craig's an experienced executive manager who has built a solid career in hotel, restaurant, catering over the last 20 years, and a thoroughly good guy. So that's the initial part of the CV. I'm going to stop sharing, Dawn. Back to you.
Okay, let's talk about. I was really interested in that. Let's talk about key achievements. For me, key achievements. This is a key part of any CV, and this is where you can showcase your achievements, and this will make you stand out from your competitors and your other candidates that are applying for the other job. This can be demonstrated in so many different ways. Some people say, I have no experience, I have no achievements, especially if they are at uni or just left school. How wrong are they? So if we talk about the school leavers or people at uni, whether it's a Duke of Edinburgh award or you have run a half marathon for charity, or maybe the team captain of a sport, or learning the piano or a different language, they all demonstrate an achievement, a commitment, and also how you can be structured and organised. If you're already in a career, it's much easier to demonstrate your key achievements. These achievements can be shown and supported and delivered in so many different ways. So for example, if you've made, say, business or sales growth or cost saving, or maybe delivered a project within a timescale or before a tight deadline, or even trained and developed a colleague. Or it could be as simple as if you're in a waiting role, how many covers you looked after. All these demonstrate what you have achieved. Now, these can be demonstrated by sharing in so many different ways. So, for example, you may want to put by showing an increase in monetary terms, monetary revenue, or showing the increase by percentages, or just quoting before and after. So, before I started working in this position, this is what we were doing. After I'm working in the position, this is what we've achieved. And as long as it's an increase, where it needs to be an increase, then that would show a key achievement. The main reason why we need you to show your key achievements on your CV is because when recruiters want to see more than just your job role on a CV, they want to see why you stand out from the rest of the CVs. So what edge do you have? What are you better at? What have you achieved? And it just gives you that edge, and it makes a huge difference. Nick, if you want to talk about the career history, that would be great.
I will, Don, and that will involve me screen sharing again. So bear with me 1 second as I do that. Okay, fab. So straight into detailed career overview. So you can see that Craig is currently Vapiano Country Director UK. That's the first thing that you want everyone to see on your career overview, what your current position is, your last position is. And then within that, he's laid it out really well. He can see he's joined as head of operations and then progressed to head of UK business. And the importance of that when you're writing your CV is to make it really clear and easy to read, so someone can translate the details. I'm talking of details. I mean, some people skim a CV and they'll literally look for key things. They'll look for length of service in a business and the role before then getting in touch and actually having a conversation. Other people, more detailed, unlike myself, will really go into the detail of a CV, read it through, digest it before then deciding whether the candidate's right for the position in their business. It's always the chronological order, starting the most recent. I'm pretty adamant on that one. And as I scroll down, you'll see the previous positions. What I've highlighted in this, guys, is that the part when I initially agreed to 4-month contract role, it really explains the question that will come into anyone's mind, which is, okay, November 17 to 18, what went wrong there? And it just really highlights the fact that, well, nothing went wrong. It was a short-term contract which increased month by month, which obviously when having that conversation, to be validated and to understand the nature of the project and why it continued month on month would be the interesting talking point. Again, going through Harbour House Group, the reasoning of the bullet points is why I've highlighted this one. Do use bullet points. They're very eye-catching, and it means that you can break up the monotony of the information within the CV and just make it a better read and a use the word nicer setup. So coming down, this is the part that really interested me in Craig's CV, and a lot of CVs that we'll see, and potentially yours. It's the part where there's a huge longevity and a really interesting part of, and a big part of the individual's your experience. So because of that, there's a lot of information, and what I would always recommend is that as we go further down, we look at the breakdown of those. Maths isn't my strong point. 15 years, and just to highlight, so the reader can have a look at each individual area, and then the information is there in terms of the detail for those detail-orientated individuals. And the others that skim through it, like what they see, and we'll get in touch straight away and talk about the roles within the businesses. I'm going to go through. What I really like about this is Craig's taken us back to sort of where it began, and wherever it began, whether that's the individual case of if you are starting your career, you'll get to Craig's stage, if you apply yourself, believe me. But it's that paper round, it's those things that you've done to show that you've got that sort of work ethic and you're prepared to work, and then you're waiting on tables, you're an assistant manager, you're a line chef, etc. So Craig's taken us all the way back to Nando's, where he was assistant manager, and as I understand, had great times there. And then even further back in terms of management training, back in Southern Sun Hotels, which I believe again was in South Africa. So yeah, I will stop sharing the screen and pass back to you, Dawn, if that's all right.
That's great. Thanks, Nick. One thing I was going to say about the CV that you had there, what Craig did, he condensed a lot of his previous historical career into little bullet points. So you don't have to put a paragraph behind each job history. So, for example, it's really relevant your last 10 to 8 years. So I'm going to talk about qualifications. This is a question we get asked quite often. Do they go at the top of the CV or at the bottom of the CV? My advice is, if the role requires a specific qualification or certificate, then your qualification or certificate needs to go below the key achievements. So, for example, if you're looking at running a pub, then putting that you have a personal license needs to go under your key achievements. The same applies if you're a chef. If you have a health and safety certificate or an allergen certificate, put it on your key achievements. It's really key that you put it under there so that people can spot that instantly you've got a great profile, you've got great key achievements, and this is your qualification. This also applies if you wanted to go into HR, IT, and marketing, and you need to say you're CIPD qualified, or maybe a C++ or Java expert, or proficient in Photoshop or Hootsuite. These all need to go below your key achievements. Nick, I'm going to hand you over to hobbies because I've got my opinion on hobbies. I know we've got similar opinions, but if you can take over the reins on that would be great.
I will do, Dawn. I will do. Very well said. Yeah, so I'm not. Yeah, hobbies. What are your views on hobbies? No, I'm joking. So hobbies are hobbies are key for me. It's definitely a do in terms of putting them on your CV. It's that glimpse into who you are as a person, what your interests are. Whether that's reading, academia, sports, all those pursuits and interesting things that we do as people, and it is the people side that the hobbies highlights. What I would suggest, I mean, I don't know. I've seen this on a million CVs. Socializing. I'm not a fan of putting socializing on a CV. It's a bit weak, and look, we work in hospitality, so I think that's a bit of a given. So yeah, what are the genuine interests and hobbies, and sort of those positive things outside of work, because as we've developed as an industry, the work-life balance is certainly more poignant than ever. So yeah, hobbies is a big tick for me.
Okay, I can see we've got some questions coming through. If we don't get to them at the end of the session, Nick and I will jump on Facebook afterwards and answer any questions that you have. So please don't feel we're ignoring them. We're just conscious that we've got half an hour and Nick and I can talk forever. So we are talking about layout now. Again, layout is, it's all about the font, the pictures and lines. What do we put on a CV? How should it look like? I would say just don't go crazy here. Make it clear, make it tidy, and make it simple. There's no need to put a picture on your CV, and avoid boxes or lines. The reason for this, it depends on where the person is opening your CV. The lines could all be out of place. So for example, if your CV was produced on an Apple iMac, or an Apple Mac, and someone opens it on a desktop PC, your lines could all be misplaced and your CV could look messy. If I talk about white space is a space around at the side where the columns are and the margins are. You've got to keep them quite tight and not too wide. Too much white space can make your CV look unprofessional, and using all the space keeps the CV down to a couple of pages. And let's talk about pages. So pages for me, it doesn't have to be two pages. The longer the career history you have, the more experience you have, then absolutely you can go on to 3 pages. No one's going to shoot you down. It can be 3 pages. If you've got the experience and you need to demonstrate it, put it on 3 pages. And my last tip is 2 things. When using an I, always make it a capital I. I know it sounds crazy that I'm saying this. I have seen this so many times where the candidate has a great CV but uses a lowercase I. And last but not least, again, you're going to say, we know this, Dawn, but don't forget to spell check. It's obvious, really obvious. But again, I have seen so many CVs where people just don't spell check, and they've got a great CV and they're making silly mistakes. We've just talked about paper CVs, and hopefully you've taken away a tip there or something that will make your CV a little bit better. But what we want to talk about is your online CV now. So Nick's going to cover a little bit about LinkedIn. Then afterwards, we're going to run through it and give you a quick summary of the do's and don'ts when writing a CV. Thanks, Nick.
No, thank you, Dawn. Okay, so the LinkedIn, what I've seen a lot with LinkedIn profiles are up-to-date profiles, which the initial thing with LinkedIn was it's more senior. And that's changed drastically. So the future seniors, should we say, are putting on putting on LinkedIn. So assistant managers and sous chefs, and even CDPs just starting to see. But do keep them up to date. And the way to look at it is that LinkedIn is your online CV and your Word or PDF document is your offline CV. And they need to mirror. So be really careful with the dates. Genuine mistakes happen, but it does raise a question if the dates on LinkedIn and the CV that you've submitted aren't in line. So it's really important that they mirror each other, and that the information on your CV and your profile are correct. So I'll keep it fairly brief about LinkedIn, because there are individual thoughts and ideas, but it should read, and it is definitely your online CV. In terms of the photos, I mean, do what you want, obviously, but I think drinking a glass of sangria on a beach is entirely up to you. I personally wouldn't do that. I also wouldn't necessarily go with a 3-piece suit, in a camera booth situation. But that's just my preference. An industry-related area, or as we're looking at, really, it's about getting the industry you're in, and it's all about jeans and smart shirts, smart casual at the moment, and a very professional behaviour, but with a casual, approachable look. That's me on LinkedIn, and so the one tip there would be just keep it up to date. It's really important.
I just want to add something on LinkedIn very quickly. I hope you don't mind me adding something. It's not like me. With LinkedIn, if you're looking for a new job opportunity, absolutely put on LinkedIn, looking for my next opportunity or available for work. Recruitment agencies use LinkedIn all the time, but also internal recruitment agencies. So recruiters that work for big companies, if they know you're available for work, they can find you quickly. So let's go on to, I've got the good job. I've got the do's on writing a CV. So these are your do's, and just to summarise where we are today and what we've covered today. So do make sure your profile is professional and relevant for the job you are applying for. For example, if you are applying for a job in retail and you've worked in retail or hospitality, you need to put in your profile, I've worked in hospitality or retail. Sounds very common sense, but people forget that. They go straight into, I've got a great personality. This is all about saying where you've worked in your history. Do add your key achievements onto your CV. This makes you stand out from the other candidates. It makes you, when people have got 3 or 4 CVs in front of them, if they can see that you've achieved something or you've mentioned this, it will make a difference. Add your qualifications or certificate if it is a requirement to do so for the job. And if it's relevant for the job, put that underneath your key achievements so people can really quickly see that you've got a certificate, whatever the certificate or qualification is required. Do start with your most recent job first. This happens so often where people start off with their job that they did when they're in 1993. And actually, we want to know what you did, what you do now. So just switch it round and make sure the job you do starts with the most recent job. And make sure when you put your dates in your CV, they're in a chronological order and they match up. So the March carries on to the April. So you don't say you worked March 2004 and then you started a job in December 2004. Because the first thing I would be asking, what did you do during that period? Probably not 2004, but 2014. But it's what are you doing those weeks? So make sure you fill in the gaps. Do add hobbies, but be careful here because it's really clear that it's how the recruiter interprets it. So for example, if you're going for a job working in a busy pub and you say, I'm an avid Chelsea fan or an Arsenal fan, I'm not segregating Chelsea or Arsenal or West Ham, I could go through them all, but I watch this every Saturday, they're going to think, well, hold on a minute, we need you to be serving on a Saturday. So that it may deter someone. And plus also, if you're an avid Chelsea fan and the guy that's interviewing is an Arsenal fan, he may turn around and say, I don't want to see him. You just got to take out that any negativity or what people might be thinking. Do keep your CV tidy. Do use bullet points. Bullet points are great. You can refer to them really quickly. This is an angle which we say to a lot of our candidates. Do ensure that your most recent post on your social media account shows something positive and professional and fun. Can be fun as well. Employers now do look at your Facebook and they do look at your Instagram or I think TikTok now. That they look at all these things. I don't really know what TikTok is, but my daughter knows it. But they look at all these things, and although we've got GDPR, they still do look at these things. Don't forget to do a spell check. And last but not least, check all your errors and just run it past someone. Give it to a friend, give it to a family member. They will see things that you don't because you're so concentrated on your CV. So that's my top tips on do's on the CVs. And I'm going to hand over to Nick for the don'ts. Nick, we've got 6 minutes. I know you like to talk, but just to let you know that.
Crikey, Dawn, I like to talk. Okay, right. So off we go. So firstly, don't forget to put on your phone number, email address, and location. I know that like Craig had forgotten, but also I took it off because I'm sure he doesn't want calls on the back of that. Although he's a very affable bloke. So if you get the chance to talk to him, you will enjoy that. So I've had a bit of fun with the don'ts actually, and reached out to a few of my team and asked some of the stories that you sort of hear along the way, but don't necessarily retain. The one that sticks out in my mind, I probably shouldn't say, but it was Kay Crone in my appetite for recruitment team, and she was interviewing a candidate, a really good candidate, by my understanding, and that she actually did help. And during the course of that interview, it was a remote interview, initial one done on FaceTime. The interviewee's partner, I'm trying to keep a straight face, walked past naked. So yeah, I think if you're in that interview situation, do have a chat with your partners and make sure they don't accidentally expose themselves. Obviously, we're going to start with a covering letter. When you introduce that, this I really like. When someone does have a really, whatever position they're applying for, it's how you kind of talk to someone when you're just making that introduction. But there's a couple of don'ts. Please disregard the attached CV. It's totally outdated. Okay, good effort. Please don't misconstrue. These are all true, by the way. Please don't misconstrue my 14 jobs as job hopping. I've never quit a job. I'm sure you haven't. I have guts, drive, and heart, which is probably more than a lot of other drones that work for you have. Okay, I'm sure they're going to love you. I'm sick of writing these pedestrian cover letters, and you're sick of reading them. Yep, I am. I'm not going to waste your time by lying. I have no skills yet. Well, I'd argue that you probably have, but you're not demonstrating them. Looking for a party time position. Well, you come to hospitality, you're in the right place, but yeah, obviously don't do that. In the personal profile, we've seen a couple of clangers. I don't like to play by the rules. Sometimes that gets me in trouble. It might be a true story, and I certainly relate, but don't put it on your personal profile. Current salary 28,000, desired salary 170,000. Good luck with that. My real passion is cooking. I hope it might be the case, but I hope it's cooking. Once upon a time, there was a princess named Sue. Good luck, princess. So work history. I've got a million. I'm just going to read a couple. So left last 4 jobs only because the managers were completely unreasonable. I'm not sure if they work for yourself or myself, Dawn. So size of employer, very tall, probably over 6'5". Yeah, that's quite tall. Knight's daughter in Tesco. I've met a few of those. So key achievements, true stories. Being sober. Well done. Divorcing my wife. Extremely well done. Meeting Tom Jones. I really like that one.
Yeah.
So the other one that just jumped out is so we look at reason for leaving. That wasn't appropriate. So the reason for leaving. I had a fight with the boss. Good. I hope you won because you obviously don't have a job not anymore. So responsibility makes me nervous. It makes us all nervous, but don't put it down. They were basically a bunch of assholes. Forgive my language, but not necessarily the right thing to do on a CV. I'm flying through these because I'm very aware of time. Key skills: perfectionist with a keen eye for details. The I is a capital I, you'll be pleased to know, Dawn, but not EYE. Being bilingual in 3 languages. Amazing. I can speak English and Spanish. Oh, it actually says spinach. So as I literally fly through this at the end, education and qualifications. I did go to primary and secondary school. I have repeated courses. I have repeated courses repeatedly. I'm sure that should go down as hobbies. Here are my qualifications for you to overlook. Maybe for the skim readers. Hobbies and interests. I've got donating blood, 12 litres so far, hopefully not today. I have 14 cats. Amazing. My interests include cooking, dogs, and interesting people. The punctuation's wrong there, so my interests include cooking, dogs, and interesting people. Yeah, I should probably say no more. So we're in interesting times, and I wanted to put something a little bit lighthearted. So yeah, to wrap up, Dawn, where are we at?
So okay, so I hope you found that session useful. Nick and I will stay on Facebook and answer any questions you've got. We will be back next week. Next week, we're talking about preparing for your interview, Q&As that may be asked at the interview or what you need to ask at the interview, and also how to dress to impress, which should be interesting. So we just want to say to you, just be safe out there. Use social media and FaceTime to keep in touch with friends, families and colleagues. And more importantly, we will get through this. And when we get through this, we will make sure it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. It's tough at the moment. Please join us next week, same time, 10:30, next 30. And just remember, we're in this together. Over to you, Nick.
I think that's a wrap up. Amazing, Dawn. And good talking to you.
Okay, bye now. Thank you.
See you.
See you, bye.